The following is a fictitious episode in the lives of two make-believe hobos. The characters and events you hear are not real. Don't freak out.
You stoop, you stoop, you stoop,
You stoop, 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 pickle stew, 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 pickle play, pickle pee, pickle poo, pickle pee, pickle pee. Here's the Boxcar buddies. It's Don and Greg back in action with another episode in October. It's Spooky Fest now. We're getting real scared of vampires and werewolves and Frankenstein monsters and my debt collectors and the policemen. They are hunting us down. They are looking for our bodies. They want to put us in jail because we are a bunch of terrible people. Well, mainly me. I'm better than Don. I have a higher wanted list. He only has minor shopping incidents. I have homicide. I have a metal hand that I use for the homicide. I also have theft. And I've put people in debt with my robot hand. I've been taking all their money so I can rebuild it with all these new metal parts. I look like Dr. Claw. I'm coming to attack ya all.
Oh, so good. That does look like Dr. Claw, man. I love the upgrades. There he is, just creeping in. What's up, Doctor? What's up, Dr. Claw?
Hello, boys. Have you seen Gadget lately?
Not lately. Have you seen him, Greg?
No, I haven't seen anyone that, turns their legs into pogo sticks or shoots hot cement out of their arms.
Right.
And is always accompanied by a small child and a talking dog.
Yeah, have not seen them, not lately.
A shame.
Yeah.
I wanted to show him my new claw.
Ooh. Hey, would you put that up against Greg's claw? Can we measure him there?
Yes, of course.
Wow. Oh, man. Sorry, but mine's bigger.
Greg's is bigger. There's no question about that claw.
Wait, let me stretch the fingers.
Not even stretched.
Close.
It even isn't meeting me at resting level.
No, it looks Greg's looks like a catcher's mitt compared to yours, man.
No, it's just because I have a different build.
Okay, sure. And let's guess, is it a little too cold in here for you, Claw? Is it a little bit...
I was in the pool!
It's all right. Whoa, settle down now. No need to start worrying those about. We haven't seen Gadget, but hey, if we do, we'll definitely call you. We got your number.
I'll be back.
Okay, cool. Would you stand...
Unless I run into Gadget, and then I won't be back.
Obviously. No, that goes without saying. But for the meantime, would you mind hanging around outside? We have a few people, as Greg mentioned there in the opening song, we have some people after us for various reasons.
I've seen the wanted lists.
Yeah, they're big.
You're
Greg's
starting to meet my quotas.
Greg has been getting
I don't know. From lately, I've been thinking that my wanted list is starting to get a little bit bigger than yours.
Mine was also in the pool.
All right, that's great. Get out of here now. Just step outside. Just leave the window open, and we'll call if we need anything, okay?
I'll be back.
Cool.
After I get some throat lozenges.
Thank you, Claw. It's much appreciated. And grab some of those for us, too, if you don't mind. I love the taste of those.
And some Pepto-Bismol. I need something sweet and thick.
Yeah.
But, low on sugar. I'm trying to watch the pound intake.
True. Yeah. I'll tell you what, after when we were in the sauna, I'll notice you have been a little slimmer, my man. You have definitely kept that weight off that we sweat off in that time.
Yeah, I know. I've kind of got a flap going on.
Yeah, that's a little strange. Although it is a great place for you to keep stuff. You got a little
It's
pouch
also
there.
a great napkin.
Ooh, how about that? Yeah,
and check this out. When I have a runny nose because it's gotten so cold.
Beautiful. Better than a pocket square. I mean, that is exactly what that's
The only downside is my nose is clean,
but
now my tummy's all slimy.
Yeah, shake that off there. Ooh, boy, some interesting colors in that mix there. But it is getting.
I've been digging my nose into new things.
Fruity Pebbles, based on those. Some of that rainbow spread there.
Some Cocoa Pebbles too. I like to mix both of them.
Yeah,
best of both worlds.
Totally, it is.
And then put Dino Bites in there, which is the affordable Fruity Pebbles.
Yeah, now you're talking. Maybe swipe some marshmallows from the Lucky Charms guy over there. Now we got a whole...
just keep picking out the marshmallows individually. I think there was a brand of Lucky Charms that was just all marshmallows.
All marshmallows. It
And I'm
was
like,
the diabetes special.
I was like, how does that work? Why the marshmallows melt in the milk?
Exactly. Now, before you know it, you're just spooning out like some thick.
Oh God,
viscous.
it's not even like the milk hasn't even changed. It's just sweet now.
Yeah.
It's like, where's the fun?
Nowhere. It's melted. It's melted in your bowl. But
Speaking of melting into your bowl, hi, it's us, the Boxcar Buddies.
yeah, I'm Don.
I'm Greg.
And we like to get together and talk to each other and help keep each other warm as is necessary when you're two homeless guys in Chicago and winter rears its fearsome head as it does in October around Chicagoland. And it's a little bit breezy out there. That's just why we've got these. It's nice because when Greg and I like to record, which is what we do week to week, we meet up and talk about content in various forms because we like to escape the drudges of our daily life, which is filled with pursuance and people looking for stuff and demanding money and tasks and all kinds of shit that we want nothing
warrants
to do
for
with.
our arrest.
Absolutely. Parking tickets when we don't even have vehicles except for these box cars that we meet up in, like we're in right now. And
Yeah, you can't charge a parking ticket for Boxcar. It's
not ours.
It's basically trash.
Exactly. And that's what we use it as. And
Don't
then,
they see the license plate on the Boxcars? That's who owns them.
Exactly. And that's why we leave them on there to sort of throw them off the trail there. But apparently, no, it's our gig, our little thing that we do is now common knowledge, and people have been paying attention to us and the boxcars that we use. And even though we dispose of them afterwards, we're still getting nailed for where we're parking them.
Plus, it doesn't help that if you actually look at a map of Chicago of the locations where we've been hiding these boxcars or where we've been recording, it looks like a big smiley face.
It does. It does look like a big smiley face, and it's kind of like so. And it's been a little bit of a joke. It's become a joke among the homeless community, but the Chicago Police Department
But the
does not find it
normies
funny.
don't
No.
understand it.
No, they
Our community loves it.
They're
They're
love
like,
it.
oh my God, you've been tricking the normies?
Oh yeah,
Jesus.
Which is why we've been getting some lovely care packages sent from our fellow friends in the homeless community. This one arrives today via Barbara. Barbara overstaying on the east side, down by what would that be? Lakeview, south of Lakeview, like the Gold Coast.
Yeah,
But
it said
she-
Gold Coast.
Yeah, but she kind of hangs out in the dog parks
She
areas.
left a couple banana peels in here, and these smell like they smell like they're from a Trader Joe's.
Oh yeah. Oh, Barb is always Gold Coast, man. She's got access. Oh, that's a nice little hat she got.
It's a little
there
nice
now.
little banana hat.
Yeah, and ooh, did you catch that smell? Now the boxcar has the banana smell to it.
It smells like nanners.
That's nice. That's nice. Hey, Claude, you smell that out there?
My nose was surgically removed by Gadget.
Ooh, sorry about that. It smells like bananas. It's really nice in here, but
If I put my tongue out in the air like a snake, then I could probably taste it.
oh, okay, cool. Yeah, try that out. But anything?
No.
Okay, just keep trying it out. But
yeah, but close the door while you do it.
yeah, we don't need to watch you doing that at all. That's definitely going to draw some
Fine.
attention. He looks like it's going a little better. He's going to entertain himself that way.
I think it's working.
Just keep trying it out. We're going to leave the windows open, though, and just keep an eye out for anyone who's coming around this area, because, as we said, we got some pursuers now. And
And also make sure not to talk for about 20 to 30 minutes because it sounds like your throat hurts so much.
I didn't realize that was happening to you, buddy. Just stay quiet, okay?
In a constant state of pain.
Maybe that's why he's a bad guy.
I'm gonna kill Gadget.
Understandable. Yeah, it's pain. It's always internal pain, I think, that...
And it's also physical. Mm-hmm. Pure 100% physical pain.
and that's what makes a villain right there. It's that he's living with that, you know?
I mean, how
It's
do you
brutal.
think he gets his vocal range like so low? Like,
Gadget.
here, let's try. All right, let's try it. Let's
Go
try
as
it. Look.
low as you can.
Gadget.
You went too low.
I did. I just can't keep
You
doing
started.
that.
You started bringing the Adam's apple way too low.
Oh, I
you got to
almost-
keep the Adam's apple like in the center and just go.
Gadget.
Yeah, it's so close. Like I'm about to make myself puke.
I think we sound.
I
I think we sound pretty close.
we're
like-
pretty close to him. I'll leave him alone. He's just hanging out there. But well, anyway, well, aside from comparing how we sound to Mr. Claw out there, we we like to meet up, Greg and I do, and take some shelter from the cold and from the elements and from anybody who might be seeking us at the moment. And we like to talk about those things into which we have escaped during the week prior. And myself, this week, Greg, I would like to tell you, I watched a couple of different movies. I was fortunate to hang out with Raj and Scummy. It was a 3-part hang.
That's an ice cream sandwich I want no part of.
It started very awkwardly. I am not ashamed to say that Scummy, the last time he met Raj, he was not a fan, and he threw him out promptly. Raj, you know how he does, just pops into a place like without any regard of boundaries or whatever. So Scummy really didn't like that. He now has one of his plants, one of the carnivorous ones, set up right by the front door, even though Raj can pop in anywhere in the apartment he wants to.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what kind of security you can do.
I know.
Raj can control time.
Totally. And so, but it makes Scummy feel better now. And so he's just on the lookout for Raj. And so I knew this going into it, so I kind of, I warmed Scummy up to it a little bit. I was like, hey man, I got a friend coming by. He's somebody that you've met before. It's maybe going to be a little bit strange, but give him a chance because he's my friend, and I've done a lot of chores around here, and we can make this whole thing work. And Scummy at first he was all like, "No, fuck you, you're stupid, and just keep on shutting up and raking the leaves out of my front lawn there because that's what I brought you here for." And then I said, "Well, if you don't let my friend come over, I'm not going to do these chores anymore for free, and then, who are you going to get to do this stuff?" And he was like, "Yeah, all right, then shut up and bring your friend over here." And I did. Immediately, Scummy popped up, and he was just like, "Oh, Don, good to see you." And he went right for the butt, like he always does. And Scummy...
I'm going to come and give you a squeeze.
Let's get reacquainted now, like good friends. And then Scummy came over and was like, "Oi, what the fuck is going on there? You're reaching way too close to my friend. Get him, Virginia." And then the carnivorous plant, I'd never seen it scoot itself across the floor before in its little pot, but it did.
Like, it does it by the chin, too. I've seen that thing. Like, he's tried to sick Virginia on me. Mm-hmm. Doesn't usually work.
Yeah, well, it's not going fast. Yeah.
Like Virginia, she slams her head right down on the floor and just
drags the pot a little closer and then slams the chin down, and yep, it's a little caterpillar motion. So it's definitely weird, disturbing to look at, but you're not really threatened too much by it. So I watched that for a minute. Raj kind of chuckled at it, and then he did this thing where he snapped and turned Virginia back into a little seedling, and then Scummy obviously freaked out, but he acquiesced. He said, "Look, do whatever you need to do. Just give me back my Virginia. That's my only love in this life." And it was like, okay. So Raj was like,
"That's
yes,
his
okay.
only love?"
That's what he said. And I didn't take it offensively. I was just like, yeah, I
get something
it.
to be offended about. I'm just like,
it's a little sad.
Really?
Huh? Yeah. Well, you know how he cares about that. All his plants, and he thinks that the plants are going to save the earth, and he really despises humankind for, what he deems as the cause of climate change and all that stuff. So anyway, he kind of went off about that. Raj snapped his fingers again, got back to it. And once we all kind of settled down, Scummy served some sunflower seeds, and we were all just kind of chilling. Raj was like, "I would like to take you gentlemen back to the year 1997. And we were like, "Oh, okay, 97. Why 1997? He was like, No, 97. And I was like, why the W instead of the V? He's like, "That is how my native people pronounce these stupid letters that you guys come up with and the numbers. So you will say it with me so that we can go back there in unison." And I was like, okay, 1997. Sure, let's go back there. Anyway.
We're going to go look for Wascally Wabbits.
Exactly.
We're going to go see a Phillies game.
You
want some Italian water ice?
We will want to love each other. And then me and Scummy had some fun with that, and we're chatting about it. But eventually, Roger was like, "No, it's not funny. We are going to watch a movie called L.A. Confidential." And I was like, "Okay, L.A. Confidential. I'd heard of it, never watched it.
It's an old movie.
97, and
that means it's 20 years old.
20 exactly at this point.
21.
And so I hadn't watched it.
You can legally drink that movie.
Hey, welcome to adulthood.
Which you'll probably
LA.
need to do after watching it.
Yeah. Okay. So this is how I felt about it. L.A. Confidential. It chronicles the L.A. Police Department, and there are two young cops that come up. They've just gotten their badges, and it's sort of introduced around this time when LAPD was not looking very good. Like, they were beating up inmates, they were kind of having their way with the town, and the two young cops, played by Guy Pearce and Russell Crowe. It was sort of coming out parties for both of those two actors.
I thought Kevin Spacey was the star of that movie.
Kevin Spacey is in the movie, but he's not actually the lead. He's definitely in it, and he's a prominent member, but the stars are totally Guy Pearce and Russell Crowe. Kim Basinger's also in it. A young Danny DeVito plays the head of a gossip-like magazine, and he's always running around looking for the next scoop, which is great. You know, I
just love watching Danny DeVito waddle around.
Oh. Hey, come on, give me a...
It was
Give me
great,
a trash. Give me the scoop. Give me the scoop here.
And he's standing at somebody's
Jump
waistline.
up onto the Hydra's back!
And so it starts off really, really good. Like, Danny DeVito does the narrating, he sets the scene. The good things about this movie, I'll just say them right off the bat. What I liked, the cinematography and the lighting. The movie looks fantastic. It's set in old LA, obviously, Hollywood, the beautiful beachside mansions of California, people running around in those houses, those neighborhoods, and like the houses that look so different from each other. That was really, really cool. I love some of the shots and some of the lighting of this, like, really do stick with you. Aside, and then there's a twist in the movie that's around 2/3 of the way through that takes it in a direction that you didn't really see coming. So that was fun too. I genuinely did not necessarily see the twist coming. So that, I always enjoy that. But the bad things about this movie, to me, greatly outweigh the good. A big one for me of that being that Kim Basinger is like the female lead. She plays this prostitute who looks like a movie star. There's this big head honcho rich guy.
I wonder why she looks like a fucking movie star.
Right.
Oh my god, this police detective looks like hit movie star Kevin Spacey.
Hey, why
that
are you
dude trying to have
arresting me?
sex with an underage man?
So there's that. There's Kevin Spacey. The fact that, like, obviously now, looking back, it's like, okay, Kevin Spacey's doing his thing or whatever. But Kim Basinger is like the lead female role in this movie, and her character's sole motivation apparently is to just get back to Arizona and just bang every cop that, like, comes through her door without any money or whatever.
It's good to set goals.
Yeah. Right, exactly. So there's that. There's the fact that it's like, okay, I don't necessarily like that, but it's not like a killer. The killer for me is that Russell Crowe, he plays this, he's the good guy cop, but he can't seem to keep his temper, especially when he's around guys that abuse women.
Russell Crowe?
Yes.
A problem with domestic abuse?
Yeah, if you can imagine.
Who would have seen it coming?
So there's
Oh wait, this was 97.
Yeah.
So it didn't really.
No
one really saw it coming until like 5 years later.
But what kills it for me is that in this movie, a movie which again won Best Picture, by the way, in 97. Russell Crowe and Kim Basinger find love. They're romantic. Not just paying for it or whatever, like they genuinely love each other. She tells him her dreams, which is to go back to Arizona. He tells her his dreams or his problems, like his
getting
demons.
Together with a woman who has had sex with all of his coworkers.
Basically. And then what happens is, spoiler alert later, she sleeps with Guy Pearce, his colleague on the force, and he finds out about it. And instead of confronting Guy Pearce, he drives to her house and punches her in the face, close-fisted, twice. Boom, right across with the right hand, and then backhanded with the right, still close-fisted. And then
my guy is a hero here.
And then at the end of the movie,
this guy's a real life Superman. He is fucking crushing it.
Then he just runs away.
Crushing her face.
He runs away. She goes to the police station, doesn't narc on him because she still loves the guy, even though her face is totally deformed. And guess what happens at the end of the movie?
They get married.
Spoiler alert. Well, they don't get married, but like he saves the day, and she takes him back to Arizona where she wanted to go. So they do like they don't talk about it at all either. It's just that she takes care of him, and like Guy Pearce gets what he wants, and Russell Crowe gets shot 3 times, but gets the bad guy, and then.
But at least she got what she deserved.
Right, to go back.
Bang, zoom. Straight to the moon.
It doesn't. It made no sense to me. And look, I know we've talked about this before, Greg, where you can't look back at content from years past and judge it based on today's standards. But I have a hard time. It's not just about the Me Too
That's something
movement.
like even the 90s where you're like,
That's
what?
I don't understand how it's definitely not okay. And then how did everyone look past that enough to make this movie Best Picture? I just don't
Probably
get that.
money.
Probably, but I mean, like, wasn't Titanic like 97 too? Like, there were
Titanic also had domestic abuse in it.
Yeah,
It also had a boat that sank.
Maybe 97 was just the year of the women beating. Maybe that was the thing that was happening, and everybody was okay.
It's part of the Chinese zodiac.
Only once every 100 years.
Oh, this year it's the year of domestic abuse.
Slap now.
It doesn't matter what movie you have. It's gotta have domestic abuse.
I want to see long hair, and I want to see it swinging after a punch.
Wait, what year was it again?
97.
That was the year that Hercules came out. And there is domestic abuse in there.
Oh, the animated one?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's great. Disney's
And then
Hercules.
probably the film one with Xena Warrior Princess and Hercules.
Yeah,
I remember they
Kevin
had a team-up
Sorbo.
movie.
Yeah.
Boy, that was bad.
Oh, those shows, man. Oh, those shows.
Xena was better.
Yeah, Xena was better than Hercules.
Xena was way better.
But I watched both of these growing up,
Hercules has one of the greatest line reads I've ever heard of in my entire life.
Okay.
And it's when Hercules, the actor, didn't realize that how he should be feeling isn't something that he should scream.
No way.
So the scene calls for him to be disappointed. So after he gets really frustrated, he screams to the heaven, "Disappointed!"
Don't you never do that? You never just scream what you're feeling?
But it's
Nervous!
anxious, hungry.
Come on. This is just human behavior. This is what people do.
Joy, aroused.
Yeah, so
Bernie,
sad,
perplexed,
surprised. So yeah,
Angry!
so this is what you should
Rage!
rage. Right. This is what you should take from LA Confidential. Definitely
a mix of emotions.
a huge
Every single one that we just said.
a mix of
Perplexed,
emotions,
sad,
hungry,
and horny.
and then whatever emotion constitutes punching a woman in the face.
So this movie, what you're saying, is a prequel to Finding Arizona.
Yes,
Okay,
most certainly. So yeah, check. Don't check that out. Don't waste your time. There's the usual.
For a
suspects.
second, I thought you were about to be like, "Hey guys,
I-
let's go check this movie.
I mistakenly.
This movie sounds like it's a good time."
I just checked into autopilot right there. I went right into I almost said "Oh, give it a shot," but no,
hey guys,
no, don't.
You know that big giant scene in this rant I had about domestic abuse?
Just skip over that.
It's pretty great.
Just skip over it on the podcast thing. Just click 30 seconds forward a couple of times.
Pretty great.
Pretty great. Yeah, but so anyway, we watched it. Raj incidentally cracked up at the part where Russell Crowe punched Kim Basinger in the face twice. He wanted to rewind it, and I said, no, we're not doing that. He's like, no, come on, but look at the way that her lips just flap that way. Oh, it's so good.
Check it out. I can make it slow down so you can watch as her face cracks.
I don't need a remote. Look at this. Look what I can do. And so we did that. Scummy was he barely watched. He wasn't really engaged in that. But I'll tell you what he did watch was the movie we sampled next. Same environment. Didn't have to get Raj kicked out. I did another round of sweeping and feeding the plants. So Scummy was like, yeah, all right, you guys can hang out here. No big deal. And so we did. And Scummy was the one to pick the next movie. And it was a movie I hadn't even heard anything about. But he puts it on. It's on Netflix. The name of the movie is one-word title, Tusk.
Oh no.
Oh, yes.
Oh no, Don, what have you done?
2014, written and directed by Kevin Smith. For anyone who is blissfully unfamiliar, ignorant of what Tusk is, Tusk, the concept of the movie came about from
was a throwaway joke from fucking
a
Kevin
podcast.
Smith's podcast.
It was one episode of Kevin Smith's podcast with his friend, and they were joking about how funny it would be if two humanoid walruses were fighting each other. I didn't listen to the podcast episode. I don't know the context of it, but that's how it came about. Then, lo and behold...
Just a common discussion between film creators, between talking about having another movie set in fucking Jersey.
Right. So, anyway, after this episode of this podcast where they sort of throw out this premise and all this, Kevin Smith put it to his audience, his followers, and said, hey, #walrus yes, #walrus no. You guys decide if the movie should be made. And guess what humanity failed to do again? It was stop a terrible movie from being made. The movie was actually made. And the way that it goes is the movie, according to IMDb's page, took 15 days to shoot. Very low.
It seems like it.
The majority
when you rewatch it.
The majority of the budget went to getting the rights to Fleetwood Mac's song Tusk. You know, so as you can just hear from that, like the budget of the movie is not great. The motivation behind creating the movie was not, strongly motivated. The script was not strong. It's not anything crazy going into it. It's very much like a throwaway thing. So just to try and give you an idea of what it is, the movie's like 90 minutes long, and it's about two podcasters in LA. Justin Long plays the main character, and he sent a video of a boy in Canada who accidentally cuts off his leg while doing Kill Bill moves with a samurai sword. Therefore, Justin Long, as the podcaster that he is, wants to go to Canada to interview this kid, now a one-legged kid, after, doing that stupid stuff. He goes to Canada. The kid, it turns out, is dead. The kid killed himself. So now Justin Long is in a bar in Winnipeg, doesn't know what to do with himself, doesn't want to go back to America because he feels like it'll have been wasted. Goes into the bathroom, finds an ad on the wall advertising a room for rent, provided that the tenant will basically do chores around the house and dress and act like a walrus. And so Justin Long, rather than being interested in like the room or whatever, he calls the guy up, and the guy, he wants the guy's stories, because the guy in his ad, this old man, as it turns out, he says that he's lived a very storied life. So Justin Long says, maybe I'll go interview this guy, get some stuff for the podcast. This old man, played by Michael Parks, if there is one bright spot of the movie, it is the acting of Michael Parks. I will say, as I said, 90 minutes, and there's not much of it that does, but the parts that are at all compelling would be his dialogue with Justin Long as he recounts his life. He does a great job of acting in that. So Michael Parks, great job, man. You carried this movie, any part of it that had anything to save. But the point is that Justin Long goes there, this man drugs him, cuts off one of Justin Long's legs, and as he keeps him captive and sort of mutilates him over the course of a few days' time, he tells him a story. Michael Parks tells Justin Long about when he was trapped as a young boy in this Russian sea. He gets onto an island, and this majestic walrus became his companion and saved his life. And then basically this old man, Michael Parks, has been living his whole life trying to recreate that. And so what you find out is that he's this serial killer moving throughout Canada, and he repeatedly kidnaps people, cuts off their legs, sutures their arms to their torso so they look like a little T-Rex on a cross kind of a thing, and then puts them into this skin flap walrus suit and sews tusks into their mouths. And then he basically gets into his own walrus suit and fights them to the death. And that is the climax of this movie.
See, the description of it sounds like it's a big, dumb, goofy time.
Yeah.
The problem is...
It's really not.
It's
bad.
Well, it is. You're absolutely right. I do feel that same way. It's not a movie that keeps your attention. The scenes.
It's so poorly paced and it's so long.
Well, it's 90 minutes. It feels longer than that when you're watching it.
But it's essentially a bottle episode of just like hanging out in this guy's lab to turn Justin Long into a fucking walrus.
Yes. One review that I read about this on IMDb was that there is a horror movie somewhere inside of Tusk, but it's basically 15 minutes long, and the rest of the movie is shit. It really is, and that's how I feel about it. It's
the way that it's structured and the way that like the dialogue is built. It seems like it's supposed to be a comedy, but it's so bad at being a comedy.
Well, absolutely, and so like. That is how it feels, especially starting off. They show scenes of Justin Long doing the podcast. They show scenes of him with his girlfriend, and she's doesn't want him to go to Canada. And like, so the dialogue between all the other characters is like meaningless too. Like, you don't understand. Like, to me, the relationship between Justin Long and his girlfriend, like, it makes no sense either. Like, they're basically telling each other why they're in a relationship, and they basically just both say like, hey, we've been in this relationship for a long time.
Here's the exposition. You needed a place to stay,
yes,
and I needed someone to fuck.
Right.
And therefore, we thought it would be a perfect opportunity for us to conjoin.
And that's the way it's been for the last 15 years.
And that's how it's been for these 20 years, hasn't it been, darling?
Yes, it's been this exact way for 20 years.
Don't go to Canada. We need to have sex more. Like it's literally like that.
If you go to Canada, that means you will be away from America, the place that you were born, the place that you were raised, with the threat of you turning into a mammal,
a big beast. Yeah, no, it's like that. I know Greg and I are like joking, and sometimes we do these jokes about movies, but this is actually what watching Tusk is like. It's the exposition's right on the nose. Here's an example of also why it's so bad. Johnny Depp, for whatever reason, plays a role in this movie. And the scenes with Johnny Depp are especially bad and painful to watch. You can tell that he
doesn't want to be there.
He doesn't want to be there.
It feels like no one in this movie wants to be there.
No, really. I was literally wondering, like, why in the world Johnny Depp would have done it. And then you look at the end credits, and he would not allow his name to be put in anywhere on the credits. The credits say that the character's name, who he played, that's who they say played the character. So it's just a double, like, credit read. They did not say it was Johnny Depp anywhere in this movie, but you just know that it is watching it.
I mean, like, at this point, like, you're already in the fucking movie, dude.
Yeah, you might as well slap your name on it.
It's already on fucking IMDb. You're listed on there.
Exactly. There's no hiding from it.
You can't escape from this. Tusk is forever attached to you.
Always.
As well as all the other domestic abuse problems that you have, dude.
Your crazy wine-throwing antics.
And all your terrible Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Yeah, but one reason I can think of maybe why Johnny Depp did it is because both his daughter and Kevin Smith's daughter play the role of two clerks at a gas station in this movie, which I don't know if I don't know if you knew this, Greg, but Tusk spawned a trilogy. There is another movie called Yoga Hosers from 2016.
Oh my god, this movie was a setup to Yoga Hosers?
And there's another one still coming out called Moose Jaws, which is set to come out in the next few years. This is a trilogy. It's just called the Canada-based trilogy. Tusk is the first movie, Yoga Hosers is the second, and Moose Jaws is the third. Would you like to know the description of what Moose Jaws will be according to IMDb?
No.
Jaws, but like with a moose. That's it. That's the one-line description for the culmination of this trilogy, Canada-based. My point is, to you listening, Tusk, if you want a movie that'll put an image into your head, you will never get out of it. Justin Long in a human walrus suit with the tusks and fighting Michael Parks, who's in his own human walrus suit, that image will never leave your head. You can use as many drugs as you like, you can seek therapy. I promise you, that is an image that will not leave your head. So if you're looking for something like that, if you're looking for a bad blend of comedy and horror and like indistinguishable like dialogue and just weirdness, I guess Tusk might be for you.
How about you just go to YouTube and watch that scene,
You could do that too,
and then not
save yourself
watch, and
the
then
time.
not watch the other 80 minutes
Yeah.
of bad.
Save yourself the time. As a matter of fact, you don't even have to watch the scene. The images are on IMDb. You can go to IMDb and there are still shots of Justin Long in the walrus suit. You can just do that, and that image will still be there. But the rest of the movie, it really is hot garbage. And I know I mentioned Michael Parks does a good job, but it's still not worth the time that you would spend doing it. Genesis Rodriguez, I believe, is the actress who plays Justin Long's
Haley
girlfriend.
Joel Osment's in it too.
Haley Joel Osment is in it, which also, again, adding to the list of things about the movie that makes no sense or seem to have no purpose. Haley fucking Joel Osment in it. He's got like 5 lines or 6. I didn't understand. And he's cracking up during one of the scenes with Johnny Depp while Johnny Depp is eating a slider. And it's in no way a funny scene. It's not supposed to be. But there's Haley Joel Osment laughing behind his hand. And it's just like, man, this movie is so fucking bizarre. The only way it could have been thought up is on a fucking podcast. Like, so that's what it is. But I was going to say, Genesis Rodriguez, she has a nice brief monologue where she's just crying at the camera, talking about what it's like to be a girlfriend cheated on by her boyfriend. That was a moment of real emotion, I thought. But what I want to convey right now is that if you could add up all the time of valuable content in this movie, I believe it would equal 3 minutes total. 3 minutes of like the 90. And that's it. That's all I want to say.
Talking
Tusk,
about that movie is just a fucking like disappointment.
I know, and it's, as I said, it's very weird. So if you're into weird stuff, I mean, you might feel differently about it than I did. But someone recommended it, and I checked it out, and it is so out there and bizarre, and it's Kevin Smith. So take that for whatever. But I don't think anybody should watch the movie. That's how I feel. I wish I hadn't.
That's how I feel.
That haunted
I don't
my
like
dreams.
that movie at all.
I don't think anybody should watch it.
Dang.
Yeah.
Well, how about let's put some brightness in our lives with something I think
Cleanse my palate, bro.
is worthy.
Cleanse my palate with something.
So, the Music Box, it's this old theater here in Chicago. During October, they do this big Halloween fest. They show a bunch of like old horror movies, like the classics, Child's Play, The Thing, Halloween.
Do they go way back, like to 1937 with the Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde?
No. Well, actually, yeah. I think they're actually doing Frankenstein.
Ooh, I like those like black and white like horror ones.
Oh
too.
man,
Those
the
are fun.
fucking original Wolfman.
Yeah.
That's some tight shit.
Love it, tasty stuff.
But I went in there because I was actually hired by one of the Taco in a Bag guys.
Wait, you got a job?
Part-time.
That's a gig. You got a gig.
I got a gig.
That's great.
I needed some money.
Did they give you a taco in a bag?
That was my payment.
That's awesome. I've always wanted to try those.
It's like a Frito pie, but not as good.
Oh, okay.
But it was free.
Yeah.
And I kept eating them. But in any case, we were doing all this work. It was starting to get busy at night. And then as the night was going on and as it was starting to close down, I was like, you know what? I think I'm just going to pop in one of these movies. See if there's anything good that's playing.
Roll it through, man. Roll the thing.
So I'm looking at all the titles. I see The Usual Suspects. I think Child's Play was playing that night. And I'm like, I don't need to see Child's Play again. That movie is just 90% like shots of Chicago skyline and then a weird doll in a small apartment.
Little pitter-patter of feet just off camera.
With the most
Dark
stereotypical
shots.
sounding gangster guy, like, hey, come here, Chucky.
And some kid like looking wide-eyed at the camera. Yeah.
Oh, no.
I do love when Chucky finally swears at the mom, though. He like turns around by the fire and he's like, "You stupid bitch!" Like it's that never fails to crack me up.
But I look up at one of the titles and I was like, I've never heard of this. It was called Mandy. So I went, you know what? Let's get exploratory and figure out what this is.
Sure.
Turns out this is a Nick Cage movie.
Whoa, you got some good old Nick Cage coming in here.
Don, I have to say...
Tell me he screams.
Oh, he does so much more than just scream.
This is beautiful.
Mandy is a film brought to us by, get this guy's name, Panos Cosmatos.
What? This is the filmmaker?
This is the man who wrote and directed this. Wow. He's become pretty infamous with this movie he made 8 years ago called Beyond the Black Rainbow.
Okay.
I've never seen it, but it's like one of those quintessential, like, this is an art house film.
Right.
And that shows very much in Mandy. So Mandy is about this married couple played by Nicolas Cage, and his wife is played by Andrea Riseborough.
Doesn't sound familiar.
I'm not really sure who she is. She was apparently in Birdman. She's done like some smaller roles, but
Okay.
They're a married couple in the middle of the wilderness in Oregon when all of a sudden this cult finds her very attractive, and they want to try and induct her into their weird Jesus sex cult.
Sure.
When she wasn't down with that, they burn and murder her alive in front of Nicolas Cage.
No.
So Nicolas Cage goes on a fucking murder rampage to get revenge on those who killed his wife.
I'm in. That is it, man. I'm into this.
This movie might be one of the greatest Nick Cage movies ever made.
Dude, that's saying a lot.
Almost up there with Face Off.
and
how
Wicker Man,
good-
like,
better than Wicker Man.
ugh.
Because Wicker
Better
Man,
than the last 10 minutes of Wicker Man.
Yeah, because before the last 10 minutes of Wicker Man, there's not a whole lot
Garbage.
happening.
I know. And then, but the end
This
is really
movie
where it's
is
at.
an hour of what Wicker Man did.
See, yes, that's what I want to hear.
First off, this movie is fucking gorgeous.
Good looking.
Panos and his cinematographer know how to make a good fucking looking movie.
Panos Cosmatos? Was that the guy's name?
Cosmatos.
Interesting.
Cosmatos. Cosmatos.
Cosmatos.
Maybe it's Cosmatos.
I was just wondering. That's a name which could have a few different pronunciations.
But I'm just going to call him Panos.
Panos is nice.
It's like Thanos, but a good filmmaker. And with the snap of
we've never seen Thanos' home movies, so we don't. To be fair, we don't know.
I erased all of those after I saved my planet.
And killed my daughter.
That's the first thing he did with his finger snap.
He did.
Erase my home movies.
Thanos.
So the first half of this movie is the setup to when the cult kills Mandy. And I hate spoiling that, but the beginning of the movie is incredibly slow. It's a lot of buildup. The imagery in this movie is so good. There's one shot where the main villain, played by Linus Roach,
Okay.
he plays like he's the Jesus sex cult leader, but he's also like a former rock star, like a failed rock star. This is set in the early 80s.
Okay.
The way that Nick Cage and Andrea Risebaugh's, I'm just going to call them Red and Mandy because that's their character names.
Sure.
Their house, like, this looks like, yeah, that's an 80s horror house. Like, this is where, like, Halloween happens. Or
In the
something
middle
like
of
that.
the woods,
The middle
Oregon,
of the woods, in the middle
yeah.
of nowhere.
Sure.
Linus does an amazing job as the sex cult leader. The scene that he's introduced in, the entire screen is filtered like this magenta color.
Cool.
And everything has this low reverb under it because Mandy's been drugged. So it makes you feel like you're in a drugged out scene. When every character moves, you see like echoes of their body following it. He gets in real close to her face, and instead of doing a like, I forget what the shot composition it's called. It's when you flip back and forth between two characters at once.
Yeah.
Instead, they keep the shot centered on Linus's face, and then they slowly fade in Mandy's face. And then they would slowly fade it out.
Wow, so it was like an Animorphs thing where the two faces combined for a minute?
So you could see her reaction to him speaking. Because, like, her mouth would open up sometimes, and then you would see Linus's teeth, like, moving from him talking.
Wow.
The movie is so good looking.
Cool.
There are so many amazing shots. There's an amazing shot later in the film where they go to, like, where the cult hangs out. It's this big, like, pyramid church, and the shot is, like, this bright red light flashing out of a cross, and then instead of like cutting from the like the cross to the inside of the actual like pyramid, it just follows the wood grain down, and you start looking up into the church just to see how it's structured. It's amazing.
Nice.
I fucking love the way this movie looks. But then again, the first half of this movie is slow.
Okay, so
it's a lot. It's a lot of buildup.
You're really engaged then visually, I'm guessing. Just
you
the
get
pacing
engaged for Cage.
Nice.
Because the second half of this movie is
Rampage.
Love
Nick
it. Cage.
I love that.
That's
the best kind of Nick Cage.
Some of my absolute favorite Nick Cage faces I have ever seen, and I will not spoil any of them because they are just so good.
Plus, this is a podcast.
They
can't enjoy it.
Yeah, there's just to set it up, like when you know when the movie's going to go crazy. After Mandy is finally killed, the guy who made Too Many Cooks was contacted to make a fake commercial for the film.
Okay.
And I have never laughed so fucking hard at anything in a movie.
That sounds so good.
I will not describe this commercial because you need to see this movie.
Okay.
But once that commercial hits, it just turns into a Nick Cage bloodfest. The dude forges his own axe.
Oh, nice.
It's so campy.
Yeah.
It's so violent. And this is the first time I've seen a director in years know what to do with Nick Cage.
Yeah.
He knew how to properly direct him to be as weird as he wants.
And that's great. You know, I saw Nick Cage recently on like a Tonight, like a late night talk show, and he was doing an interview and he was talking about Mandy, and like someone, I think they were talking to him about Ghost Rider, and they asked like, well, hey, have you heard anything about is Ghost Rider going to be reintroduced to the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Like, are you going to be brought back in? And Nick Cage literally said like, you know something, like, no, I don't think I'm really interested in that stuff anymore because I have found my niche. I have found an area where I'm happy and the fans like it, and like he has this genre of movies now, and it's cool.
The genre is just called Nick Cage.
I know, exactly. It's cool to hear that a director though embraced that, and that it's like it feels like everyone is now embracing that. If you want to go see like a Nick Cage movie, sounds like Mandy's like the pinnacle of it.
Yeah. It was astounding. It may be my favorite movie this year.
Wow.
It may be. I want to watch it again. It's actually going to come out on Blu-ray very soon. So
okay, well, great.
Your boy's probably going to sneak into a Best Buy.
Yeah, hey.
Or he'll use the fresh, hot money that he's been making on the side.
How about you try and trade some of those tacos in a bag, my friend?
Trade
Jeez.
some tacos in a bag for $15 so I can get a Blu-ray of Mandy and install it into my robot hand.
We can watch it on the go all the time.
Exactly.
No, that sounds great. Mandy,
I
check that
fucking
out.
love this movie.
Especially if it's coming out on DVD and Blu-ray.
It's
like
coming out very soon.
Easily accessible.
I'm not sure about other places like outside the city of Chicago, but our friendos here in Chicago, it's still playing at the Music Box for the next couple weeks. I think it's a great, great, great fucking time. Bring your friends and know that this is a Nick Cage movie, and then really let like the imagery sink in, because there's a lot of inspiration from like heavy metal.
Okay.
Like the comic series.
Yeah.
There's like mixed media in this, so there's like I said, the joke commercial made by the Too Many Cooks guy.
Mm-hmm.
There's actual animation.
Also, briefly, if you haven't checked out Too Many Cooks, YouTube it right now. Pause this podcast and YouTube Too Many Cooks.
I'm
unless you're driving.
surprised that you haven't heard of Too Many Cooks.
If you haven't, I know that there are people out there who haven't. I only saw it a few years ago, but you got to check that. It's only a few minutes, but it's so worth it. So
and
funny.
Support the guy's show. He does have a show on Adult Swim called Your Pretty Little Face is Going to Hell. Watch it. It's amazing.
There you go.
You love the imagery of Too Many Cooks? That's what the entire fucking show is. It's fantastic.
Yeah, good stuff. So, Mandy, that's a definite check it out.
That is a definite check it out. I
Tusk,
fucking love that movie.
Tusk,
No.
definite don't check it out.
No.
Do yourself a favor and watch anything else. If you need to see that imagery we talked about, look it up online, look up a GIF, and that's really all you need to see about it. But yeah, yes to Mandy, no to Tusk, and forget about LA Confidential. Let's all let that just wallow in the past, I think. But Now that brings us to the part of the show that Greg and I like to bring you in on. We reach into our grab bag here of gregslist@gmail.com messages, and your questions. We like to read them and answer them if we can.
Yeah, this is your time to actually join the show. If you want to bring your hot takes or weird life decisions come to the table, send us an email at gregslist@gmail.com. That's 3 G's, regslist@gmail.com.
That's it. Check it out. What do we got today, Greg?
Oh, today we've got a guy from Oak Park. His name is Glern.
Glern from Oak Park. Okay.
Our boy here in the subject title.
Do you think that's Swedish, Glern?
Glern? I think it's like
Finnish?
Glenn. I think it's like Glenn, but he was like slurring.
Speech impediment, yeah.
My name's Glern.
Like he's hammered all the time. Okay, yeah.
I can't stop drinking all these Jägermeisters.
I like my life.
Sorry, Glern. We didn't mean to turn you into an alcoholic.
This is just what we get from your name. Are you going through life with a name like Glern? Might be a pseudonym. Let's be fair. Like this, maybe he didn't want to
Maybe
give
it's
his
an
real
acronym.
name.
Maybe if we spell it in a different way, we would get.
Greg loves eating regular nutrients.
That's not true.
You don't. Is it ERN or is it U?
It's GLERN. So I'm thinking it's great learning
Equals
elephants.
Okay.
Rob Nutella.
Okay. Rob Nutella. I will say that it's grandma.
So it's great learning, comma, elephants Rob Nutella.
Oh yeah. Okay. So yeah, like a haiku almost. It's like the first two lines of a haiku. I'm gonna go with grandma leaves everything. Run now.
She's coming.
Yes.
She's become too powerful.
That's what I said.
Grandma finally got run over by a reindeer.
I've had too much.
She was run over by a radioactive reindeer.
Ooh, and she has powers now. Santa grandma.
She's like Peter Porker.
Fucking Spider Ham.
Okay. In any case, our boy Glern here says too greasy. Hey, sometimes I get really lonely and spread butter on my nipples. But how much is too much? I can't see my nips anymore, and it's making me sad. Frowny face. Please help. Okay, Glern. I gotta let you know that you do not want to exceed half a tablespoon of butter on them nips, because that's too much.
You think so?
I think so. Because now, like, your natural nips aren't being exposed to your shirt or sunlight or anything. You're essentially putting big, giant, greasy umbrellas on top of your nipples and refusing it the vitamin C that it so craves.
No oxygen. Do you think maybe Glern's getting ready for a marathon? Is that the reason
I think he's
behind
getting
this?
ready to slip into something, if you know what I'm saying.
Oh, this is Glern's little
or you know what?
ritual.
Glern, from the way that you sent us this email, you seem like the type. I'm the type too who wears their shirt at the beach. And what happens in those cases is sand gets in that shirt.
Absolutely.
And then you get nipple chafing. Mm-hmm. So you put a little butter on there, you grease them nips up, and all of a sudden, the sand, it's not scraping on me anymore.
Slides right off.
But the problem is you're not letting your nipples, like, you're not giving your nipples a good time.
Not to mention, if you take the shirt off and you've got the butter on your nips, those things are cooking in the sun, man. You got pepperonis going.
You're frying.
You're going to be smelling up that beach.
You're making Canadian ham.
Absolutely. So, Glern, do be careful if you're at the beach or you're in sunlight. Butter is not to be used as like sunscreen or sunblock. That's just going to cook that stuff, man.
Yeah, so like I said, use the daily doctor recommended amount of half a tablespoon. Exactly.
It should be printed on the back of any butter that you're using.
Yeah, I mean, I know Land O'Lakes does it. I think the Aldi brands do it.
Yeah, it's.
I've read the back of those boxes many times, hoping that I can find some butter to lick up, but.
But no, and I think it might even be like a law now. The FDA's got to print that stuff on nutrition labels. It's just got to let you know what kind of what the dosage is specifically for the nips. That's not. But yeah, be careful, Glern.
I would recommend some butter replacements. I would recommend margarine.
Yeah, margarine's a good one.
Or a low fat olive oil. Probably some extra virgin olive oil.
I'll tell you what.
That way you want to keep that greasiness, but also it's exposed.
It's exposed, and I'll tell you what, olive oil, healthy, natural, stimulates hair growth. All good things.
The downside is it cooks much faster than butter.
And it drips. It's not going to hang on there all the time. You're going to have a nice little trail.
Yeah, you're gonna
Trail
want
of
to
tears.
get like a sauce brush and kind of like dab.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
dab.
yeah. Treat the nips like a canvas and just softly paint the olive oil or the margarine just in streaks.
Let
downward
Don's
strokes.
Bob Ross just kind of soothe over those nips.
Why don't you go ahead and make some happy little strokes there? Get into the olive oil and just make yourself a little happy face.
Make a little happy little pizza.
No need for clouds on today.
There's two. There are two pizzas on this canvas.
Look at that. We're going to stroke a little smile underneath them, and it's going to be a pizza happy face.
And don't forget the nose. Can't breathe without a nose.
This is our favorite Italian dinner. Let's go enjoy it together.
Mamma mia, that's a spicy meatball.
So hope that helps and answers your question, Glenn.
Yeah.
Whatever you're doing, definitely just do it safely. And as we said, stay out of the sun with the butter on the nips. But anyway, Greg and I, we're going to go, we got to dip out.
Yeah, we got to find some way to take care of Claw.
I don't want to hang out with him for the rest of the day.
Gadget, why won't you pick up your phone?
He's still calling Gadget. Dude, this is so pathetic.
God.
Gadget has fucking given... We all know he's given him a fake number. Like this, he's never reached him.
Like, we know that he gave him a go-go gadget
Restraining order, yeah.
Like,
He put it out there, yeah. He has his go-go Gadget
like
legal
he
counsel.
leaped up in front of him and went, go-go gadget restraining order. And that was that.
And there was the paper. It came right out of his sleeve.
Signed by the Chicago Police Department.
Mm-hmm. He has
by the mayor.
Go-go Gadget attorney. He's got him on standby. Pops right out of the jacket, and there he is anytime Claw pops up. Go-go Gadget legal counsel.
Go-go gadget civil court.
Go-go Gadget suing for damages.
Go-go gadget Judge Judy.
Go-go Gadget daytime TV. It's
I saw that episode. It was not good for Claw.
So
he lost a lot.
Oh yeah, which is why
He lost the cat. He lost his cool armchair.
lost a little bit of his sanity.
He lost the bomb that like is handcuffed to his hand.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's not doing well. It's kind of a sad sight, which is why he has been hanging around our.
Why did Gadget leave me?
Scream the emotion you're feeling right now, Claw. What do you feel?
Disappointment.
Oh, buddy. Yeah, that's good. Check out Hercules or Xena Warrior Princess whenever you have a moment next time.
I've watched all of them on VHS.
Nice. Good choice, man. Yeah, those are some good tastes. But anyway, Greg and I have to figure out a way to get
We got to find a way to like
around him.
sneak around him. So let's pack up the recording equipment and I don't know, maybe like throw him a bone, like just be like go gadget bone, and maybe he'll chase after it.
Oh, that's a great idea. And so we do actually. Thank you, Barb. There's a bone in the care package. Thank you, Barb.
Thanks, Barb.
This looks like a femur of something. And
Go gadget, here comes a giant bone.
Gadget, where are you?
yes, it worked. Perfect. Okay, great. Greg and I are going to get out of here. Thanks. Do check out Mandy. Don't check out Tusk or LA Confidential. And we'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Oh, I wish Gadget didn't leave me. I've been stuck with all these third-rate heroes. Russell Crowe came over last night, backhanded me, and then he punched me again, and then he backhanded me a couple more times. And then Kevin Spacey came in and he put his hands on my chest. I was like, what are you doing?
Hey, I'll play this card, you play yours. Let's play them together, huh? We space out.
I'm spacing out of this podcast is what I'm doing.
Bye!
What you just heard was a fantasy, a fiction, cooked up for your amusement and the catharsis of the hosts. Have mercy on them.